Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Only One Hotspur podcast. On this episode, we are going to be following on from our keep or sell. Obviously, in the first episode, we went through the goalkeepers and defenders, and in this episode, we'll be going through the midfielders and attackers. And the first one we're going to start off with is a bit of a crossover between a defender and a midfielder. We didn't really know where to put him. So he's in first in this one, and that is Ryan Sessegnon. So obviously joined last season. I know there's a lot of hype around him because I know I was excited about signing him big time. I even got him on the back of my shirt. Um, Obviously, didn't quite happen for him that much last season because of injuries and so on. But yeah, Wes, what do you think should happen with him?
Um, I personally think we should keep Ryan Sessegnon. I think he comes under the category of players that are at the club that fans want to succeed and want to do well. Um, and, we know that the talent and the ability is there from him. He seems to have been around a long time already, despite the fact I don't even think he's like 21 yet. He's played a lot of games at Fulham, and his career at Tottenham so far has been very, very stop-start. But then saying that, he has scored more goals against Bayern in the season just gone than Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, Neymar, and all of those. So for me, the case is closed. If that's not enough for us to keep him, then I don't know what is. To be fair. But no, I'd definitely keep him. I think he's got a lot to offer the club and the team moving forward. It's just we have to work out where we're going to play him. Is he going to be cover for say Ben Davies as a left back, or is he going to be an option for us in the attacking sense? Obviously, he started last weekend against Ipswich and scored, played really, really well. In the bit that he did yesterday, again, he looked really, really good. So, I think him having this kind of pre-season, I know it's been a bit shorter this time around because of COVID and things like that, but I do think him having probably settled a little bit more now into the club, I think that's definitely going to help him. But I loved his interview when he first came because he said that he wanted to understand what it meant to play for Tottenham Hotspur. And that was the bit that got me really, really excited because it's like, right, he wants to understand what it means to play for this club. And he wants to succeed at the club as well. He knows he's joined, a big football club in England and things like that. So it's just obviously been a bit frustrating for him that it's been stop-start and he hasn't quite had the football in the minutes that we all sort of want him to get. But I do think it's going to come in one way or another. We're going to have a pretty packed fixture schedule. So we're going to need as many players as possible available to us. And Cess is definitely a really, really good option. I think Jose likes him. I think, Jose's tried to sign him before when Mourinho was at United and has likened him to Ashley Cole, which, for any player, if you get that kind of comparison, then you know that you are a top player in the making, definitely. So yeah, no, like I say, for me, Cess is 100% keep, and hopefully he gets a bit more game time this year.
Yeah, I think you made a very good point of it's where he plays as well, um, because obviously, as I've already said, he's like a crossover, isn't he? I think left back, I think Jose doesn't quite fancy him there yet, does he? I think, as you said, he's said about the Ashley Cole links and everything like that, but I think he doesn't quite see that happening just yet, does he? Um, One thing what I've literally just thought of, obviously, we assigned looks well like we've signed Matt Doherty. Obviously, he's a right wing back, isn't he? At Wolves. Whether or not we might even change to a back three, and then Cess maybe plays a wing back. That could maybe be another option, because I think that might actually be his best position. To be honest with you, because I think last season he just didn't seem to have that much confidence at times. I think that was something what he didn't show that much. I remember in one of the FA Cup games, I think it was, well, probably a couple of them anyway. He got the ball and you think, go on, take on your man, take on your man. And he sort of stops, passes it back inside and stuff like that. And I think that happened quite a lot with Cess last season. Obviously, there were a couple of glimpses, don't get me wrong, where he did take on his man and everything, but not as much as we probably wanted him to. But I think there's a player in there. I think he's going to be a fantastic player for us in the years to come. I know a few Fulham fans were absolutely gutted that he left. I remember when we signed him, I think I shared it going, I can't wait for this, for him to hit the ground running, you know. And I sort of know a Fulham fan a little bit, and he was like, look after him, you know. I think he felt a bit obviously upset that he'd gone, because he is a very good footballer. I think he just needs a few games, maybe a bit more consistency in the minutes as well. Maybe not playing every game, but, you know, getting just the consistent minutes in, because he hasn't had that. He's sort of come into the team, come out, you know, that's because of injuries as well. But no, 100% keep. I know there's been a few rumours of him going out on loan. I don't personally want that. I think he, you know, has he could do well this season with all the fixture list and the busy schedule. I think, you know, he's a good chance of him getting quite a few games this season if he stays fit. So yeah, I'd 100% keep Brian Sessegnon. So yeah, carrying on with, we'll go like midfield. Obviously, that was a crossbreed, like a crossbreed dog, that, isn't it? So yeah, we'll go into the midfield. I'll tell you what, this is who we're going to go for next. Harry Winks, because I know us two are big fans of him, and I know a lot of people aren't. So yeah, let's go for Harry Winks next, I think. So go on, Wes, over to you.
The Hemel Hempstead Shabby. Yeah, 100% keep. 100% keep. The amount of disrespect this guy gets is ridiculous, by the way. If he was playing for any other club in the country, you would see highlight reels of what he does on a regular basis, almost on a daily basis. And for those people that kind of don't understand what he does, he keeps the ball. We don't have anybody else in the team that can do it. And, you know, there was obviously strong links to Man City with Harry Winks. And if Pep Guardiola's a fan of you, chances are you know you're half decent, really. At the very least, you are half decent if you're being linked with a Pep Guardiola side. Yeah, I love Harry Winks. Just think he keeps it ticking over for us. Does I wouldn't say the ugly stuff, but I just say he does a lot of things that just go completely unnoticed. And I think as well, from a national point of view, you know, like with England, we've always wanted a player like Harry Winks. We've got one, and we've just got Harry Winks. That's literally the feeling that I get with him. Like I say, if he was in this City team at the minute, he'd be lauded on a daily basis. The amount of plaudits he'd get would be unreal. You know, if he was at United, they'd be championing him every game. Even if he was at the lot down the road, they would be hyping him up like you would not believe, because he's actually decent. Like, they hype up half their squad and they are absolute toilets. So imagine what they'd do to someone that's actually decent. Yeah, no, I really, really like Harry Winks. I think as well I wouldn't say he's got an aggressive nature, but I think off the ball, like he reads things quite well, and I think that helps us out, especially when Sissoko is out of position, which majority of the time happens in games. So yeah, I think he covers the ground quite well, but he's not one that is, he's not going to smash people and put someone 6 foot up in the air. But I think there has been times where if he's needed to make a tackle, he's made a tackle, and then actually we've been able to start attacks off the back of it. And like I say, it always helps as well that he is literally Tottenham through and through. Like Tottenham, he is Tottenham. Like, when you hear him speaking in interviews, he's grown up watching Scotty Parker and Luka Modric, and tried to model his game on little bits of those, and then obviously having worked with Dembele and things like that. So he absolutely loves the club. He is literally one of our own. And I think that helps. But then I think as well at times, as fans, a lot of Spurs fans like give one of our own a lot of stick. And I think that's happened with a lot of players that have come before Harry Winks. But yeah, like I say, no, I'd fully keep him. I think he's a great player. And I genuinely think he could play with the bits that he does. This is probably going to sound like a wild claim from most people, especially those that don't like Harry Winks, but I genuinely think he could play for any team in the Premier League, just because of the way he manipulates the ball, the way he moves the ball and keeps things ticking over. Like every club needs a player like that, and we've got one, and we're trying to disregard him or boot him out, give him a bit of disrespect on social media and things like that. And I'm just like, well, no, don't. Like a lot of the time as well, fans moan that he passes sideways or backwards, but actually there's no movement in front of him. There's no options in front of him. So what would you rather, him try and clip a 40-yard pass into no man's land and then the other team pick the ball up, or Winks play a sideways or backwards pass just to keep the ball and we're still in possession? I know what I would rather personally. I'd rather keep the ball, because it means if we've got the ball, the other team aren't going to score. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, like I say, I'm a big fan of Harry Winks, and I think it'd be a bit criminal for us to sell him, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think I fully agree. I think we've had this conversation quite a lot, haven't we? And you hear a lot of people moaning about Harry Winks. Even when you're coming out of a game, I remember once walking out of the ground, and I've just heard this man go to his family, "Oh, yeah, Harry Winks was absolutely useless tonight, weren't he?" I'm thinking, "Oh, I'll tell you what, mate, shut up. Like, what game was you watching? What game was you genuinely watching? Like, he's just a scapegoat, like, for a lot of fans, and I don't get it, because I think he's class. His passing is fantastic. He barely gives the ball away. I think his passing stats are unreal, to be fair. Like, his passion as well, as you said. Like, to have someone in your team who cares that much about winning for that team, I think that's such a good quality to have. Like the picture, I think it's Shaka on the floor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Harry Winks is sort of over him, giving it large. I'm like, love it. Like, I absolutely love it. That's one of my favourite pictures, just because you can genuinely tell how much it means to him.
And have a look when we score. Every time we score, he's celebrating literally as if he's a fan. It's brilliant.
Oh yeah, I remember. Like, I know we lost this game, but against Wolves, because Harry Winks was captain, weren't he?
Yeah.
I think we scored, and he went off celebrating with the fans on his own for a little bit. He just bleeds Spurs. Like, I love the guy, and I think people need to give him much more credit. I think, like, we are lucky to have a player of his ability in our team, I think. And I think he should be a mainstay in that starting 11, to be perfectly honest with you. Massive fan. So yeah, I'd obviously 100% keep. Yeah, moving on. I'll tell you what, let's get this one out of the way, Wes, because you already know who I'm going to say now, don't you? Because I think if we do this one now, we then know how long the podcast is going to be, roughly, don't we?
Here we go.
So, yeah. Got Moussa Sissoko then.
Get rid now. It's as simple as that. The guy's 30 years of age and he can't control a football and he's on 90 grand a week. The fact he's on 90 grand a week, doesn't bother me. It's the fact he's 30 years of age and a professional footballer and can't trap a bag of cement. And then people have the audacity to turn to me and go, he's been our best player for the past 2 years. Well, is there a reason why we've probably been on the decline for the last 2 years? Honestly, when we signed him, right, I spoke to a couple of Newcastle fans that I know, and they said cheers because they could not believe that they'd managed to get 30 million for him. I don't even care if the deal was staggered or anything like that. They were genuinely buzzing. Said he turned up for about 6 games a season, and that was it. I'm still waiting to see what those 6 games are. I know he sort of went from zero to hero, but I don't know if it's because he is that bad that we're just sort of celebrating anything half decent that he does, or fans now genuinely love him and he's become a cult hero for literally running around for 90 minutes. Don't get me wrong, he does give 100%, and I can never fault a player for doing that, but for me, that's a given. As somebody that works in football and is a fan of football, working hard is a given for me. I just can't see it. He's just not good enough. I wouldn't trust him on the ball. I wouldn't trust him to do anything, to be honest. He's just never in control of the ball, never in control of anything. I don't know how he survived this long. I'd have probably got rid after a year, to be honest, because I think the thing for me is when we played Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League and he genuinely could not control anything. He couldn't even press Control Alt Delete on his computer like keypad, I don't think, that night. He bagged 90 minutes and I just remember he was that bad, and I just turned to my dad and said, how's he bagged 90 minutes, Dad? I genuinely don't know. Genuinely do not know. It's just get rid, please. Like, I can't be dealing with this much longer. Just get rid and then get somebody else in who is actually a footballer. Just please, just go. Like, him and Aurier, I think, are the two that I would ship off, and I would actually pay postage and packaging for that shit, and any shipping costs I would actually pay for just to see them go. But I think it's one for me that if we got rid of Sissoko, I think I'd be a bit happier. Obviously, I know a lot of people aren't fans of Aurier or whatever. You being one of them, Joe. But yeah, it's I just can't be dealing with Moussa Sissoko anymore. Like, I've seen enough. Like I say, all right, he works hard and he runs about a bit, but I mean, isn't that like I say, isn't that a given for a footballer? Never mind if you're a professional footballer, just a footballer in general. To work hard and give 100% for the team. I just, please go. Sell.
Yeah. Obviously, my keys are literally ready by the front door for the second where I see fee agreed for Sissoko. I'll drive up to the training ground and I'll drive him there, no issue. To his next destination, just get out. Like, we've had enough of you. Goodbye. But I can't see him going, unfortunately. Not this window anyway. But I cannot see where he would get into the starting side now. I genuinely cannot, because obviously we've signed Højbjerg. I know you're not as happy with that signing as I am. But if he signed Højbjerg's going to be starting. You can tell Højbjerg's going to be starting. So I think Højbjerg will be that deep player. Then I think Winks, either Gio or Dele, or if Sissoko gets in that team ahead of any of them guys, Jose Mourinho needs to get his head checked. Simple as that. Or Sissoko is like, or I don't know, something dodgy's going on if Sissoko's starting every game with the midfielders what we've now got. I think. Like, I think last season you could forgive it a bit because of we didn't necessarily have that player who ran around as much as him, sort of thing, if that makes sense. Like or as strong as him in midfield. But you don't have that excuse anymore. So if I literally on a Saturday, oh yeah, have a look at that. Oh, for God's sake, Sissoko starting. Like, I might as well just start drinking then. Like, you know what I mean? It's not good enough. Like, he should not be anywhere near that starting team now. And I think just get rid, because as you said, he's on fairly high wages for someone who's that bad. I'd say he's on 90 grand too much. I think it's a bit. I don't know. I don't know. It's just frustrating, isn't it? Like, he's literally like Bambi on ice at times. Like, he's just got, as you said, no
that's
touch.
harsh. That's harsh to Bambi, to be fair. I think that's a bit harsh on Bambi, I reckon.
But I can't remember what game it was, but I remember it's after the restart. He's literally gone to control the ball, miscontrolled it, gone to pass it back to Hugo Lloris and booted it off for corner. I'm thinking,
Sheffield
Jesus
United, I think
Christ.
that one. Sheffield United.
Yeah, that was it. I was like, come on, like, how? Because obviously that game I was angry anyway, because of obvious things.
Well, the thing with me, Joe, as well is the thing with me, right, is that people say about Sissoko, oh yeah, well he's covering Aurier, so he's out of position a lot. Well, Conor Maynard covers however many people's singles on YouTube. But like, we sign him because he can cover. Do you know what I mean? Like, but the thing is, if Sissoko's out of position, then it's going to kill. Do you know what I mean? He's literally. I know the way we play, we have one fullback that's high up the pitch and stuff like that. So you might need somebody to just cover around a little bit. But, I think Sissoko takes it literally and ends up playing as a right back. And then, whoever's in the midfield is pretty much in there on their own. So we're just getting outrun and outworked in midfield because of it. I'm just like I say, Conor Maynard covers however many bloody singles or however many songs. Should we sign him because he can cover or what?
Jesus, when was the last time someone mentioned Conor Maynard, by the way? Like, he's probably living under a rock somewhere thinking, oh God, someone just mentioned my name here. What's going on? Like, God, that one got me, I'll give you that. But, I think it's fair to say on Sissoko that we both want him out of the club immediately. Bye-bye. Yeah, moving on. We will go for I'll tell you what. We'll go on to Clarkey now. Obviously Jack Clarke. I don't know why, but I've got a bit of a soft spot for him. I don't even know why fully yet. I just think I remember watching a few Leeds games when he was at Leeds and actually playing. He just looks exciting, and obviously he's English and. He's one. I think, as you said about Sessegnon, he falls into the bracket of players you want to see do well. Obviously, last season he didn't have a good season. I think the Leeds thing got to him a bit. Obviously, going back out on loan didn't. I think he played like two. Barely played, did he? And then obviously went to QPR. But what are your thoughts on Clarkey?
Well, firstly, I'm slightly surprised you've thrown this one in ahead of some of the other names that we've got in our midfield, but I'm sure we're going to come on to those in a minute. Jack Clarke, I would like us to keep him because what I've seen so far is that I would put him in a similar bracket, not mould, but bracket to Lucas Moura in the sense that they're direct wingers. I just think with Clarkey, he's got perhaps a little bit more to come. Whereas when Lucas gets it, he's gone and he dances past people for fun, but then sometimes his final ball lets him down. Whereas I think Clarkey, when he's going, he's quite direct. But then actually, I think his decision making is slightly better. In that, I think he knows when to release it and when to dribble and then when to cross and those kind of things. So look, when we signed him, I was quite excited by this one. Young, hungry English player that I think will do well for us and will come good for us. Like I say, seen glimpses of it in the minutes that he's got pre-season wise so far. But yeah, I do think though, if Clarkey is to stay, and I know we had this discussion earlier, that it depends on us signing a centre forward, because I think we could end up with, say, 6 options to play on the wing. We'll have more options than NSG, I think, for this one. Do you know what I mean? So we'll have, Lucas, Bergvin, Sonny, Lamella. You'd have Clark. You could add Sessegnon into the mix there as well, because obviously Sess can play as a winger. So do we really need 6 wingers at the club, or 6 players that can play wide? Probably not. I know, like I say, we're going to have a pretty busy schedule, but my goodness, it's great, to have all these options, but I think sometimes you almost don't want too many options, because you have then like an embarrassment of riches and you can't keep everybody happy. But no, I think Clarkey might have a role to play for us, certainly up until January, because I think the league's going to be crammed in a lot more from now until January, and then perhaps we'll see from there. But no, I think if we could keep him, I think it'd be an asset. If not, then look to loan him out 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a good feeling about him. I think he will be a good player for us. And I know obviously we was talking about him before we started this. And as I said then, I think that, and you sort of brushing it a little bit there, like I think before January, we're going to have so many games, and some of the games aren't going to be against the best opposition, most likely. You're going to have some Europa League games where you could probably play a few fringe players, like Clark. So then that way he can get some minutes in there, which will, I think, be beneficial for him. And obviously in the Carabao Cup as well, obviously you can get a few teams in there, like, I don't know, Exeter. I don't know why I said Exeter first, but, random teams like that. You know what I mean? Like games where maybe Clark could maybe play. So I think he could get a few minutes. And I think it'll be good to build up his confidence, because obviously he's gone out on his loan spells and hasn't played that much. And I think his confidence took a big knock. So I think being in around the first team at Tottenham, even up to January, would be big for him. And then after January, maybe loan him out to a team, maybe like a low Prem team, maybe like a West Brom or someone like that. Like, because I think it would be good for him to get Premier League football rather than Championship football as well. I think because he's quite a lean guy, and I think, he'll need to learn about the Premier League that bit more. So yeah, I think that would be quite good. Personally, I think that's where I feel on him. I'd keep him until January, and then I'd probably look to loan him out for half a year, then see where we go from next season. But I can't see him playing in like games against like Man City or teams like that. But yeah, I think that'd be quite interesting to see what happens with him, to be honest. I think that's one to keep an eye out for. But yeah, I'd keep and loan in January, personally. But yeah, we'll move on. I don't know why I threw Clarkey in right there, to be honest, but it's good to mix things up, you see.
Keep
you
kept me on my toes. Yeah, definitely. Definitely kept me on my toes with that one.
So next, I think we're going to go for Si Senor, good old Giovanni Lo Celso. I love him. Got him on the back of this top, don't you worry.
Show us.
What a guy.
Show us, show us the back of your top.
Oh, oh, go on, right, go on, little spin.
Oh,
Oi.
hey, there we
Hey,
go.
can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. There we go. Good old Geo. Absolute C senor. Um, see, a bit of fun on here. See, never say that we don't please you. Um, um, yeah. So go on then. You take over for a second. Go on there.
Gio
Well,
Lo
what do you think?
Celso. Let's keep 100%. Rumours that we rejected a loan bid from Juventus for him. But yeah, no, I think Lo Celso proved what a good player he is, and what a massive asset he can be for us. I think a lot of the time he played deeper, and perhaps he would have liked to, because I do think he possesses some qualities to play in a number 10 position and in a number 10 role. Do I think he's going to get in ahead of Dele, though, in that position? Probably not. However, what a great option for Jose and the coaching staff. Should Dele pick up any injuries, or might want to rotate the squad a little bit. I love his passion, his work ethic. He's one of those that you'd probably say falls under the category of a creative player, but actually does a lot of defensive work for the team. I think he's actually better than Eriksen in that department as well. So yeah, I think he's not afraid to get stuck in that kind of thing. Whereas I think Eriksen, I wouldn't say was afraid, but would go to close the ball down and then stop. Whereas I don't think Lo Celso's like that. I think if he's going to close the ball down, he's definitely putting a tackle in, or he's going to try and win the ball back. Can spot a pass as well, and I just think that we've seen a lot of glimpses of what he can do. I think it's just, can we put it all together this season, and then get his numbers up in terms of assists and even him scoring goals, because I feel like he's got the ability to do both. It's just, can we try and see it a little bit more often? But fantastic player. I think will be a big fan's favourite as well in the next couple of years. His song's great as well. Love his song. Sing it quite regular as well. So yeah, no, love Gio. So yeah, keep him 100%.
Well, yeah. Well, surely it's just best in the world is Gio Lo Celso. So yeah, like the song says it all. Got to be a keep, like unreal. I was actually talking to an Arsenal fan the other day. I know, sadly, I have to work with him. That's the only reason why I was talking to him. Don't you worry. Wouldn't talk to anyone else out of my own will. Um, but that's the thing. I actually brought it up. I went, I know he hasn't got many goals or assists, but it's just his overall play. He does bring a lot to the team. And he went, oh, I know he doesn't get many goals or assists, but this is an Arsenal fan, by the way. He went, but I think he's mustard. I was like, he's giving us a compliment there. Like, Jesus Christ, he's actually saying. And I thought he'd go, yeah, he hasn't done enough though, as he hasn't got all these goals, he hasn't got these assists. But he's like, his off the ball work is fantastic. He does a lot of. I think he does a bit of the dirty work as well at times. No sales, so which he loves to tackle, which I absolutely love. He's got that Argentinian fire in him, as we've said a few times before, and he's just an absolute, won't say it because there's kids watching. But
Rough
yeah,
out,
I think
rough house.
yeah, rough house. You know, but no, I absolutely love the guy. I think there's more to see from him as well. I generally do. I think we haven't. I don't think we've even seen the best of him yet. I think there's a lot more to come from him. I think he'll get more goals this season, more assists this season. Yeah, I'm generally really excited to see more of him. To be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, you brought up this player while we was talking about Lo Celso, and yeah, Dele Alli. I know there's actually some fans who aren't a big fan on him, which I cannot understand given his record. You know, breaking was it Frank Lampard's record to get the amount of goals what he's got at his age, and people going, yeah, he's not good enough. Yeah, okay, mate. You know what I mean? That's some people are a little bit loopy. That's my thought. But yeah. So what are your thoughts on Delhi then?
Um, I do love Delhi. I just think he's just a really really top player. And he only cost 5 mil. So I just don't. I
And he's
just
better
think,
than Azil.
yeah, just think people just don't understand. Like, listen, this guy burst onto the scene at MK Dons, right, in a game against Man United where they won 4-0, and he pocketed 3 full international players at, like, he was 17. Says it all. And I was sort of thinking to myself, if Fergie was Manchester United manager then, he would have been a Manchester United player, because Fergie would have signed him after that performance, because he was electric that night. Best player on the pitch by none. And he's come to Tottenham, and you kind of think, okay, fresh-faced kid out of League One, bide your time a little bit, and then you'll get in. No, he came in mentality-wise, you know, I'm the best player here and things like that. And he's actually proven to be one of our best players over the time that he's been at Tottenham. I've seen people say that he's finished. I mean, he's 24, so if he's finished at that point, then, you know, God help the rest of us, I think. You know, he's okay. So his goals, you know, he had an amazing season where he bagged over 20 goals, and I think, you know, the age-old question is, can you be consistent and try and hit those levels again? For one reason or another, it hasn't happened. I think injuries have led to that, and I also think a change in the way that we've played, because we played a very structured, like, football. I say structured, it was 4-2-3-1, and then we changed to the back through, like, the 3-4-3. And Delhi really flourished in that. And then we changed when we went to Wembley. We started off with a 4-2-3-1, and it wasn't quite working. And then we changed to a diamond. And I personally don't think that suited us as a team. But it definitely didn't suit Delhi at all. He wasn't getting on the ball as much, meaning he wasn't as effective. And actually, then if he's playing deeper, which he was, then he's not going to be making those runs from deep, getting into the box and things like that. So I think that sort of killed him a little bit. But listen, I think we saw a bit more of the Delhi that I would say fans are used to. Not the Delhi that we know and love, because I think people that have watched or followed his career closely know that actually, as he was coming through at MK Dons, he was a central midfield player, and actually even playing in front of the back four at times. But we've seen, or like I say, we've seen the Delhi that we were become accustomed to, which was getting in the box, scoring goals and things like that. But then we decided to have our own case of, you know, Holby City up the top end of the pitch, and everyone decided to get injured. So, you know, he's been hoisted here, there and everywhere. And again, I don't think that helped him. And I think he picked up a slight knock as well towards the end of the season. But, you know, again, pre-season, this season, in the couple of games that we have played, he's looked really, really good. You know, looked really, really sharp. And, I mean, his goal yesterday was just brilliant. Lovely little lob over the goalkeeper. And you just think, yeah. I like Delhi. He's quite fiery as well. He doesn't take any nonsense, which I think any fan likes from a player. You know, if we look at, you know, the cupping of the ears away at the Bridge, the 2-0 at the Emirates, these little things. You know, I think as fans we love it, but actually, I think as well he loves playing for the club. He wants to succeed at the club. I think he's probably got the right manager at the right time to get the best out of him. And I think Dele's one of them as well, that Mourinho can basically get in his head. And once Mourinho's in his head, Jose can almost wind him up. A bit like a toy that you wind up before again and then you just let go. I think Jose can do that with Dele, and Dele will react well to it, whereas I don't think other players do that as such. But no, I do not understand those people that say he's finished and that we should sell him. He is an integral part of our team and our starting 11. We have to keep him, and I'm hoping for a good season from Dele this season, and I do think his goal involvement, so his goals and assists, I do think that will come. We'll start seeing high numbers again from him this season, given the amount of games that we'll play, because I do think he's one of those that wants to play every game and play as much as possible. So we might see him in Europa League games as well as Premier League games and cup games as well. So yeah, I do think that we're in for a good season with Dele this season. And like I say, I think he's got the right manager at the right time, I feel, as well. I just get that sense with Dele. And I think Jose's going to turn him into a bit of an animal, if he wasn't one already. So I think we're going to get, the Dele that, like I say, we're all accustomed to, I think is going to come back. So yeah, 100% keep.
Yeah, I love him as well. I think there's stages where he can be frustrating. I think there's at times where, say, if it's not going his way, his head does go down a little bit. We've seen that a few times, and that's when it's frustrating because you think, come on, look, we all know you've got the ability in there. But yeah, I think, as you've said, he has had to play out of position quite a lot lately, or in a position where he's not as effective. Especially, I think, in the past couple of years, But people were saying, I've said this argument a few times to people, like, oh yeah, Dele Alli, he's awful, isn't he? He's not good enough. Well, before lockdown happened, he was the joint top goal scoring midfielder in the Premier League, but apparently he's not good enough. And by the way, he was joint top goal scorer Kevin De Bruyne, so it's not exactly a bad person to be joint with. Because Kevin De Bruyne is probably one of the best players in the world, let alone the Premier League. And then I said that, and they're like, no, that's not true. I'm like, go and look it up then. They look it up, like, that's a fluke. Oh, shut up. Like, Dele has got raw talent in there. And it's a joy to see at times. Like, I know people get frustrated by the flicks and stuff like that, what he tries. I personally really like that. I think that's what we want at Tottenham. We don't, if he tried a flick and it came off and we scored, everyone would be like, oh my God, what a player. He tries one and he gets absolutely hounded. I'm like, yeah, but you done that earlier and we scored and he was absolutely, singing from the stars. And I don't know, I just don't get it. I think I really like him. And I believe he's going to be pushing so hard this season to have a good season as well. Because obviously the Euros are coming up, and obviously in that position, you do have, England are quite lucky. We've actually got quite a few good players in that position. You've got, Phil Foden, who I think is going to be pushing him. I think you've got Jack Grealish, you've got Maddison. Some people will go Mason Mount and Barkley, but I don't think they're on the same bracket of the people who. I like Barkley's not awful anyway. Mason Mount, I think, is overhyped massively. Like, people go, oh yeah, Mason Mount's better than Dele Alli. Shut up. Like, honestly,
Dele Alli is the footballer that people think Mason Mount is. Let's just put that one. I'm going to put that there. Pin it. Say it with Chet. The lot. Dele Alli is the footballer that people think Mason Mount is. End of.
Exactly. Like, honestly, some people think Mason Mount is the next, like, Ronaldinho or something. In reality, he's literally like a ghost. I don't know. But yeah, I just think but Delhi does have some competition for his place in the England team. So I think the other three could maybe cause him a bit of a problem. I think Maddison maybe not as much. I think it's between me personally. I think it's between Delhi, Phil Foden, and Grealish for that 10 spot for England. I know Grealish hasn't been called up. Neither's Delhi. I know Maddison has, but I think it's going to be very interesting in there. And I think Delhi is that sort of person because he's got that mentality that he knows that he's not in that England squad this time, and he's like, I will be in it next time. I will be in it next time. I'll do everything I can to be in that squad next time. So I personally think Premier League, Europa League, watch out. I think Delhi is coming, and I think he's going to have a cracking season. So yeah, 100% keep. 100% keep. And I'll tell you what, I'll move straight on to another one who I know divides a lot of fans. Another fiery player, one who I absolutely love as well. He's one of my brother's favourite players. I personally think there should be a statue outside the ground for him just because of a couple of moments in one game.
Here we
and
go.
that is Eric Lamela.
Yes.
I know
Yes.
you like him as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So go on, Wes.
Oh, Coco, you Argentinian roughhouse. So any people that are over the age of 18, if you see that Tottenham are playing, please bet that Eric Lamela will be carded at any point. That is if you can, of course. Yeah, but besides that, yeah, do love Eric Lamela. You know, out in Jack Wilshere at any time is, you know, fantastic. And putting him in his place is always, you know, great to see. Putting that in the things we love to see category. You know, I do. He frustrates me though sometimes because I think there's times he can move the ball a bit quicker. He must be on a touch bonus or something because it has to take about 6 touches before he decides to do anything, and it can become quite frustrating. However, I think his work rate off the ball is, you know, second to none. Can never fault it, and does a lot for us. Yeah, although he has been at Tottenham a while, and you always feel like this is the season for him to come good, but he ends up being like Santa, and you only see him once a year. So you know, it's really, really frustrating. And given his age as well, if there was a bid that was of a fairly decent price, he would be one that I would perhaps listen to an offer for. Don't get me wrong, love him, but sometimes I just think that sometimes a player might run his course at a football club. And I do feel like Lamela's getting to that point now because it's like, well, you know, how many more times are we going to hear that you're getting injured? You know, I know Jose's come out and said that there's been times where he's not been 100% fit and he's made himself available for the team, which I respect and stuff like that. But like I say, is he a player that we can rely on, especially now we're going to have however many games? We're going to need players that we're going to need to rely on, that are going to be able to play at least 20, 30 games right across the board. Is Lamela one of those? Probably not. So like I say, if there was a bid that was favourable, I would look to sell. If not, then I'd keep him 100%, because like I say, he is a good player, and he loves being at the club as well, which always helps. So yeah, I'm a bit 50-50 with Lamela on that one. So it's like a keep, but if there was a favourable bid, then I would listen to it. I would listen to offers. Certainly, I'm not transfer listing. I'm not trying to sell him or whatnot. But like I say, if there's a favourable bid, then I might look into it. I don't know about you.
I'd keep him. I love him. I think, yeah, he can be a little bit frustrating, as you said. Like, I think another thing is that he is so one-footed.
His
I think his
all
right,
lefties are the same. To be fair, like it's just a
yeah,
thing.
but like he's another level. Literally, his right foot is for standing on. Um, but I just love him. Like, I think when he plays, I don't know, you just when he gets the ball as well, you do generally. I always get on the edge of my seat because I think he's so direct. He's always looking to make something happen, and a lot of the time he does actually make stuff happen. Um, I'm a massive fan of him. I really really like him. I think it's a shame with the injuries. I think, but I do believe he will keep. Every season, I'm like, this is his year, as you were saying. And I think literally everyone in the club wants him to have a season where he's like phenomenal. Um, Whether or not this year is it, especially with the amount of games that we've got, it will be interesting to see how we use him. I think if we can maintain him quite well, I think he could play quite. He could easily play like 40 games because we're going to be playing like 60, 70 odd games, or at least featuring that amount of games. Maybe not play him in like some of the cup competitions, like cup games, give him the rest and everything. So obviously he had that hip injury where he was out for like 13 months.
Had a baby in that
Apparently he
time,
was
by the
actually
way, so his
considered.
hips can't be that bad.
But apparently he was actually debating whether or not to even quit football. Do you know what I mean? And I think his passion for the club as well, like it's a bit like Winks. Even though Lamella wasn't a Tottenham fan or anything like that, Lamella knows what it means for the club. He gets the club so well. Literally, like what you said about Musa Sissoko, the one good thing, the only good thing. Literally, his work rate is unreal when he's on the pitch. He never stops running. He never stops working, and I love that. And I think he puts in a tackle. He stood on Fabregas's hand. He just does like stuff where I think Tottenham fans love him. Like Tottenham fans do. If Tottenham fan goes, "I really don't like the man," you can tell they're not right. Because the things what he's done, uh, you know, the rough house moments, as we are saying. Um, you grow a connection to the player. I think when they do stuff like that as well. Like, I think it's fair to say, like that wheelchair moment, everyone was like, "Yes, love that." Like the Fabregas when he stood on his hand. Oh, what's no, love that. The tackles what he puts in, love that. Um, by the way, that Rabona goal, while I'm doing it, love that. Um, but that's the thing, and there's talent in there. Like there's so much talent within Lamella. As you can tell, I'm quite a big fan of him. So yeah, I would 100% keep Lamella. Um, I can understand your point with if there's a good enough offer, you would listen to it. But I think Lamella's really happy at Tottenham as well, and I think Mourinho's a big fan. I think Mourinho's a very big fan of him. Um, so yeah, I'll tell you what. After that one, I think we'll move on to a nice easy one. Sonny.
Ah, Sonaldo, keep him 100%. He's class. Best 22 million we've ever spent on a player, 100%, and he's paid that back tenfold with the amount of revenue that he brings to the football club. Yeah, he's just brilliant. You could play him off the right, off the left, as a number 10, through the middle as a centre forward, and he will do really, really well. He stepped up for us when we needed him to, probably as well when we didn't expect him to, with Kane being injured. But no, he stepped up massively. Scored some really, really important goals for us as well. You cannot hate the guy, like, at all. He just, whenever I hear somebody say about Son, you just smile straight away, because it's just one of the things that he does. He just smiles, just brings happiness to everybody, and stuff like that. And I can't believe that. I think it popped up the other day that we've had him for like 5 years, and it's just crazy to think that he's been with us that long. He genuinely loves the club and loves being at Tottenham. Wants to do well, wants to succeed. Keep him 100%. And yeah, I just think he's been a fantastic player and fantastic servant for us. And long may that continue. Hopefully, he has yet another good season. I think he's been on a real hot streak of form over the last couple of seasons, where he's done really, really well. And having seen him in pre-season, I can't see why that can't be the case this season. So yeah, no, 100% keep, 100% keep.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much to say about Son. Like, he is probably one. No, I think we've got 2 players in the squad who you could say are world class. I think him and Kane, I think the people you can argue are actually world class. So you're not exactly going to say that and then turn around and go, yeah, I'll sell him.
Massive
you know
what
I mean?
By the way.
Yeah, exactly, mate. But yeah, I think he's just unreal, isn't he? The goals, what he scores at times, you're literally just sitting there, like, the ball's out wide or something. You're like, yeah, what's he going to do here? Cuts in, shoots. Okay, that's what he's going to do. Put it in the top corner. Obviously, his goal against Burnley as well. Sorry, we have to give that a shout out. He's just gone, yeah, go on then, why not? Run through the team. Yeah, that's what I do. Unreal. Roadrunner. Just what a guy. Like, you can tell every player in the squad loves him as well. He's a proper character. It must be good for, I bet he's really good with young players as well, actually. I bet he makes the young players feel right at home, if that makes sense. I bet you he's just because he's such a jokey, you sort of see it in the videos and everything. And I bet, especially for players who are coming up now, like your Harvey Whites, like your Jack Clark's even, players like that, like, coming in, you'd probably be a bit nervous, and you turn around, you see Son doing something stupid and silly. You think, okay, yeah, I like this. And I bet you just make you feel at home. As you said, he just brings a smile to everyone's faces. And obviously, Mourinho's a massive fan of him, obviously, as well. As I've seen the past few days, that Mourinho's learning Korean. So that way he can talk. And I bet you Son appreciates that a lot as well, because we wouldn't get barely any other coaches doing that for a player, I don't think. But by the way, can I just quickly mention how mad must it be to speak like 7 different languages and you're learning your 8th? I can barely talk English, let alone 7 different languages. Like, that's mad. How do you have that many brain cells to be able to do that? Like, I've got about 5. So that's not even an amount.
4 of them are on the blink as well.
Hazard lights are on. But yeah, like, I just love Son. What a guy. What an absolute guy. So yeah, keep. We'll go on to Stevie Wonder as well now, Steve Bergwijn. Another one who I don't think we're going to have too much to say on, really, are we? Obviously, a quite new signing, really. Came in January, and everyone just loves him already. If you do score on your debut against Man City, fans will tend to take a bit of a shine to you. And he went and done it, so fair play to the lad. So yeah, what do you reckon?
Well, obviously he's only been here well, not even a year yet. So, chances are the club's going to keep him. I don't think that one's up for debate. I love Bergvin. I think he's got so much ability and so much potential. I think, again, we've seen glimpses of it, but I still think that there's more to come from him. He's quite a stocky guy as well. And he does give that air of, I'm not here to be messed about kind of feeling. But yeah, no, like I say, he's been brilliant so far. Hopefully now he's got his feet under the table at the club, we can see him pushing on and starting to deliver on a more consistent basis and more top level performances in the coming season. Because like I say, we've seen bits and pieces, but we haven't really seen it in one. And again, it's been a bit stop-start for him. Obviously, he came in quite late in January. And yeah, he's sort of been in and out of the side, did pick up an injury. I think it was away at Burnley. And then came back, scored against United, sent Roy Keane into one, which was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, no, 100% keep, like I say, because he's not been here that long. But yeah, no, I think, like I say, we've got certainly more to come from Steve. So yeah, like I say, keep for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, he is a very good player. A lot more to see from him as well. He's our Stevie Wonder, isn't he? I think. Like, it's just something about him where I think he excites me as well. I think when he gets in the ball, you think something's going to happen. Yeah, I really like him. Like, I don't think there's actually much more to say apart from that. Yeah, I just love the guy. The absolute class celebration as well.
Yes, he's pulled it out. Go on.
Go on. Showing you quite a few things today, aren't I? See, spoiling you. But no, I think he's going to be a good, very, very big player this season as well, with the amount of games that we've got to play. Yeah, there's not really much else to say on him, really. But we'll move on to the person who I think will be swapping and changing with quite a lot next season, and that is Lucas Moura. I think this one's going to be a bit of an interesting one as well, because I think we've sort of spoken about him before, and I think we both sort of agree that he's living off Ajax away a little bit. Don't get me wrong, he works hard. But yeah, I'll let you go first, obviously. But I thought I'd throw that in there. So you go on, Wes.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I think Lucas is one that frustrates because, again, there's so much there. He's I guess, a lot of fans will probably say he's a bit reminiscent of Aaron Lennon in the fact that there was a lot of ability, a lot of potential there, but decision making and final ball were just atrocious. And stuff like that, which obviously pains me because Aaron Lennon was my hero and my idol growing up. So yeah, and he was even my nickname at one point. But yeah, with Lucas, I do think as well that he is living off Ajax away. We need more from him in an attacking sense, goals and assists. I don't think his off the ball work's ever been in question. I think it's just on the ball. That's where the question marks are coming. And like I say, because of his age as well, don't get me wrong, he's not, past it, he's not finished or anything like that, but he is, the 30 age mark is creeping up on him a little bit. And I think for him, if he is to move, he's probably got maybe 1-2 more years if he is to get a move. But again, I think if there was a fairly attractive bid that came for him, again, I would look at listening to it because it's not because of Ajax away. Listen, he doesn't have to buy a pint in Tottenham ever again because of Ajax away. But yeah, I just think there's this, it's, like I say, it's stuff on the ball that I think needs improving. So, like I say, it's one of those. I'd keep if we had Lucas Moura by the end of the transfer window. I'm not going to complain, by the way. It's just that perhaps if there was a big offer that came in, I may look at it and may listen to it. Because I think, as I mentioned earlier with Clarkey, I think Clarkey's a similar type of player to Lucas Moura in the sense that they are both direct and things like that. But like I said, he's got to improve in the final third, I think, and stuff like that. So that's my take on Lucas. I don't know if yours is similar, if yours is completely different or exactly the same. So over to you.
I am quite similar. I think he does frustrate me a lot, Lucas. I know quite a few people are absolute massive fans on him, and I'm like, yeah, I can see why, and he's always going to be a legend at the club because of what he done. But I think I don't know. At times, he just really frustrates me. Like his decision making is really poor. Sorry, but his decision making isn't the best at all. Um, and it's not really something you can coach at that age. I don't think either. I think it's quite a natural thing. Because you can coach it a bit, but it's quite natural now, isn't it? It's quite set in. Um, so yeah, I'm with you. If he's there by the end of the transfer window, that's good because I do. That's the thing. I do obviously really like him, but if there's a good offer in there as well, I would look to maybe go. To be honest with you, I know that might get shot for that, shot down for that one, but I think personally he does frustrate me a bit, and I think we've got quite a few wingers as well, so it's one of them. I think where if there was that offer, I think you would listen to it. But yeah, obviously I do like him. I'm not saying that I don't. It's just one of them. I think. Um, Obviously Mourinho loves him. Moura loves the club as well. You can never fault his passion. He's always commenting on the Spurs posts and everything. He absolutely loves it. So yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? I think Lucas. Yeah. So I'd say keep unless if there is an offer which is I'd say maybe 25 up. 25 mil up, I'd say, then I might start to listen for that. But yeah, I bet you thought I had forgotten this guy because see, look at him, you know.
Here we go.
And obviously, there's been quite a few rumours, considering he only joined last season, and that is Ndombele.
Yes.
I'll let you go first.
Now we're talking.
I know. Yeah, so go on, Wes.
Tanguy Ndombele, what an unbelievably good footballer he is. Like, no player in our team, in our squad, is on his level. He is that good. We just haven't seen enough of it. I mean, we've seen flashes of him twisting, turning. You know, he's making players play twister. You know, spinning them like Beyblades, all them kind of ones. You know, like I say, we've seen flashes of it, just haven't seen enough of it. I don't know what's happened between him and Mourinho, but for him not to get barely any minutes after the restart, considering how we played in certain games, was very, very surprising. You know, I actually think he's a different type of player to the one that we thought we was going to get. I think technically he's a joke. He's ridiculous. Can spot a cute pass, those eye the needle kind of passes. I think he's got them in his locker, 100%. And again, falls into the category of players that you want to see do well and succeed at the club. It's just how we're going to get him to do well and to succeed at the club. That's the thing. I've heard rumours that Bergvin's called him out in training, and apparently Mourinho's sided with Bergvin on that. But listen, I'd love nothing more than to see Tanguy Ndombele thrive in a Tottenham shirt because, like I say, I genuinely think he's up there with one of our best players, and stuff like that. So yeah, he's one I'd keep. And this is the thing that got me. Moussa Sissoko was keeping him out of the team. Just let that sink in. I just think we need a minute just to let that sink in. Moussa Sissoko kept Tanguy Ndombele out of the Tottenham team. Strange. So yeah, 100% keep for me. 100% keep. And like I say, he's a baller. And I think if we were to cut our losses and get rid quite early, we would almost regret it because he will do well at another club. I think if we were to get him, and then we'll go, so this is the player that we've missed out on. Why did we sell him? Kind of thing. But yeah, no, for me, 100% keep.
Yeah, I think it's a hard one to judge. I think because we all know there's a player in there because we've seen glimpses, but I don't know. There's obviously question marks about his attitude, question marks about his fitness, obviously whether or not he can hack it in the Premier League. Because obviously, I think there's that game where, like, obviously Lamela put himself available for selection, and Ndombele done the opposite. And I think to do that with Mourinho, you know what I mean? I think Mourinho's going to then put you down the pecking order a bit, and you're going to have to work your socks off to get back in it. I think that's where it might have started to go wrong for Ndombele with Mourinho a bit more. Because obviously that was before, wasn't that before the restart as well?
Might have been, yeah.
I believe, wasn't it? Yeah. So maybe that was in Mourinho's thinking during the restart, thinking, well, Sissoko wants to play, Ndombele could be bothered. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a hard one because we all know there's a player in there. We've, as I said, seen glimpses of it, and obviously I'd keep him. Yes, I'm going to ask you a question now because I think this is like one of the rumours what's going around. Okay, I know you're probably just going to shoot it down straight away. But anyway, say obviously Inter Milan apparently really want Ndombele, don't they? That is a team who's really like gun-hoing for him, apparently. If they offered Skriniar plus 20 to 30 mil, what are you saying?
Put the phone down. It's not happening.
Okay.
It's not happening. Do you know what I mean? Okay, Inter Milan really, really want him. Well, I'd really want us to sign Lionel Messi. Is it going to happen? Probably not. So, they could really, really want him, but I don't really care, to be honest, because I want to see Ndombele at my football club, and I want to see him do very, very well at my football club because he's an absolute baller. Like, he had the pick of any club in Europe last season. He could have played for Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus. Like, they all were after him, and he chose Tottenham. So for us to, like I say, cut our losses, we will then, all rue that, rue doing that in the sense that, if we do it and he then goes and shines elsewhere, we're going to be like, well, where was this at Tottenham? Well, actually, has he had a fair chance? Probably not at this stage. So yeah, I mean, it's a big season for him. Obviously, I hope he manages to recover from contracting COVID or testing positive at least from COVID that come out in the last couple of days. So hopefully he gets well soon, and we get to see him playing in the Tottenham shirt and doing what we saw in his Lyon days, especially.
Yeah, I think, as you said, I think this is going to be a big season for him, and maybe playing so many games, and we can maybe try and get that more minutes, maybe push up that pecking order again, really show what he's got, even if it is starting against like the lower, Europa League games and stuff like that. Showing what he's got, showing the ability what he's got, and then just working his way back up, because I think he is going to have to do that with Mourinho a bit. that's my personal opinion. Like for you to do something like that to Mourinho, going, yeah, I'm not sure I can play. I'm not sure, I think for Mourinho will lose respect for you. Simple as that. Like, and I know you agree with that, because don't you? Like, Mourinho is such a big person on stuff like that. But I think Mourinho will give him a chance, because I think there is a player in there, and I think Mourinho can see that, and I think that's why Mourinho is frustrated by it, because he can see the technical ability what this guy's got, and he's like, if you worked that bit more, and and obviously during lockdown he went and done that training session with him, what obviously shouldn't have done, but that shows that Mourinho does see the ability in him, or else Mourinho wouldn't do things like that. So yeah, obviously I would keep him. I'm not saying I'd sell him, but yeah, it's a hard one to judge because we haven't seen enough of him yet. So, but yeah, I'd say keep. And yeah, so I don't think I've missed out really any midfielders or wingers, have I?
No, don't think.
Obviously, they're fringe players. You've got like the Jack Rolls and like Jamie Bowden and players like that.
They come under the 23s for me, so that's fine.
Yeah. Them players maybe could do with a loan. I think Jack Rolls maybe a loan move up to like a higher standard in Cambridge. So I've apparently done really well at Cambridge, from what I've heard. Apparently fans absolutely love him. So maybe like a loan move to his Championship, maybe
even in League One,
a high League One club. Yeah, somewhere like that maybe would be good for him. But yeah, I think apart from that, it's there's only really one man really left, and yeah, if we sell him, we're a bit stupid. But I don't think that will happen. And that is obviously the mighty Harry Kane. Take it away, Wes.
It's Harry Kane, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like he's a bit good, isn't he? Well, we'll have to keep him. He's the only centre forward that we've got. And he's a bloody good one as well. Class act on and off the pitch. Scores goals, makes goals, the lot. Keep. Case closed.
Yeah. What he said. I think. You know what I mean? There's literally not much else you can say on Harry Kane based on that. He's one of the best strikers in the world. I'm not saying we're not going to go into that argument now of who the best striker in the world is, because I think we would actually have a disagreement on this, because I think I actually messaged you about it a couple of weeks ago, and you said an answer what I didn't fully agree with, but that could maybe be for another episode anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously 100% keep Kane. There's not many better than him in the world as a striker. I'd say maybe one better striker than him in the world at the minute. That out and out striker, and that guy has just won the Champions League, which sadly Harry Kane couldn't do last year. But we won't go into that, or else I'll start crying again. But yeah, I think obviously keep Harry Kane. Simple as that. As you said, case closed. Put that case in a massive safe, so no one can change that for years to come. So that way you'll never leave. Just keep him hostage if we have to. But yeah, I believe we've covered everyone there, haven't we? Over them 2 episodes. Oh, is that a phone? Is that a fine?
Not mine. Not
is
mine.
Is that a fine I'm hearing?
Not
is
mine.
Is that a fine?
Not mine.
Oh, we'll have to leave that to the viewers, whether or not Wes will get a fine for that phone going off.
Not my phone.
Oh, still.
It's not mine.
So we'll leave it. We'll leave it. Hey, look, we'll leave it.
My dad's coming in because he's wondering if I'm going to put the pre-season friendly on, because it's kicking off in a minute. So Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Tell him to sort it out for me, or else I have to come and sort it out myself. Okay? Yeah. It's not good enough. Mr. Paintbrush, sort it out. He's heard that, hasn't he? Oh, he hasn't. He got headphones in. Silly me. But yeah, guys, that wraps it up for another episode. Obviously, that's keep or sell. Hope you've enjoyed that one. I know we've had a few interesting opinions in there. But yeah, make sure you follow us on, subscribe. I mean, on YouTube. Obviously, we're aiming for 100 subscribers. We're still going, still progressing with that. So let's keep it going, guys. Keep it going. You know, tell your brothers, tell your sisters, tell your aunties, tell your uncles, tell your cousins, tell your dogs, tell anyone. Don't care. Let's get it up to 100. You know, obviously, leave your comments on and thoughts on the players who we've talked about, whether or not you'd keep or sell. I'm sure some of you will probably say, oh, you have to keep the GOAT, Musa Sissoko. That'll be interesting. But yeah, obviously follow us on Spotify as well. Follow us on all social media at Only One Hotspur. And apart from that, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.